Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Host Eddie Frederick.
Welcome to Caribbean Perspective. So glad you can join us. The story that takes the lead in today's edition for Wednesday, 14th February 2024, and brought to you in association with our friends at Antillian Group. Antigua and Barbuda leads the region in the fight against cervical cancer. Details after this important message.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all, perils big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Welcome back. Antigua Barbuda has launched a groundbreaking initiative to eliminate cervical cancer as a public health concern by 2030. The country is being praised for being on the avant-garde across Latin America and the Caribbean in this effort. The launch was held at Sandals Grand Antigua on Sunday. ABS's Myrtle Bruno Hodge reports.
Governor General Sir Rodney Williams, himself a medical doctor, says while the country has made remarkable strides in cervical cancer prevention, it must continue to evolve to meet the needs of the population.
Strengthening our primary care services serves as the foundation for a resilient healthcare system, providing accessible and comprehensive services to individuals at the community level. By bolstering primary care, we can establish a proactive healthcare approach that goes beyond addressing specific diseases.
Health Minister Honorable Sir Malwyn Joseph says the National Cervical Cancer Elimination Program will be a critical area of focus in the National Plan for Health for Antigua and Barbuda.
As we embark on the ambition but sustainable journey, our collective efforts will focus on expanding access to vaccination, enhancing our screening programs, and ensuring that every woman diagnosed with cervical cancer receives the best possible care.
The Health Minister highlights the aim of this ambitious initiative.
Our aim is not only to reduce the burden of cervical cancer in Antigua and Barbuda, but rather to set a global example of what can be achieved with commitment, collaboration, and scientifically driven public health policy.
Meantime, Chairperson of the Ministry of Health's Cervical Cancer Task Force, Dr. Sherry Tuller, expounds on some of the objectives that her team hopes to achieve as the country moves to eliminate cervical cancer as a public health concern by 2030.
We hope to expand the HPV vaccination access through collaboration with our community leaders, parents, and teachers to raise awareness on the importance of HPV vaccination. We hope to achieve an annual 20% vaccination rate coverage amongst our boys and girls. We hope to screen 3,700 women annually using HPV testing.
HPV testing will resume on February 19 at all clinics. Myrtle Bruno Hodge for ABS News.
A call for radio stations to revisit their marketing strategies in a bid to capture broader audience and ensure their continued relevance in an increasingly digital age. The challenge comes as the world celebrates Radio Day on February 13th. World Radio Day is an opportunity to celebrate radio as a medium. It is a chance to promote international cooperation between radio broadcasters, to encourage major networks and local radio stations to foster access to information and freedom of expression. More in this DBS News report.
The theme for this year's World Radio Day is Radio, a century informing, entertaining, and educating medium. The theme forces attention on radio's remarkable past, relevant present, and promise of a dynamic future. For local media lecturer Jerry George, it is also an opportune time to take a critical look at the challenges of confronting radio, especially in the face of new digital platforms, social media, and even the impact of economic hardships on advertising.
I have seen transformations that has occurred over 50 years of broadcasting here in St. Lucia. I don't know if you realize that the radio day that we are celebrating tomorrow is actually marking a milestone of 100 years of radio around the world. Here we are still, radio providing service as well as entertainment and information to the people of St. Lucia.
Jerry George, a former general manager of Radio St. Lucia, says radio's portability and importance as a means of communication, especially in times of disaster, ensures its continued relevance even in a digital age. However, he says in St. Lucia's increasingly saturated market, stations need to work harder to come up with unique content to set themselves apart, engaging listeners, and grow their audiences.
We have approximately 23 radio stations in St. Lucia, and if from my information is right, then every single one of them have complained or observed that there's never enough money in the marketplace to do the things that they wish. And it is becoming a crowded environment, and so people have to be looking for different ways, creative, innovative ways, in order to ensure that their stations get a piece of the pie.
Mr. George believes that radio stations can ensure their viability by learning how to combine more traditional broadcasting methodologies with emerging technological and digital advancements. He believes that by embracing the technology, radio stations can still broaden their audience base and attract new listeners across age groups.
For as long as I can remember, it has been said that radio is, losing its appeal. Radio is going to be buried by the new technology, but we still see that over the years when television was introduced, it was still there thriving and finding a new role for itself. Today, with all sorts of different platforms that are taking over the landscape, we see that radio is still doing its thing and trying to find a niche for itself, within that landscape.
The Windward Island Broadcast Service began local broadcasts in the early 1970s. Since then, there have been at least 23 licensed radio stations established on island. For the DBS News World, Manasseh Stanislas reporting.
The Bahamas Christian.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick.
In association with our friends at
Antiguan Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Council speaks on crime, giving their recommendations. More in this ZNS News item with Cleopatra Murphy.
Interrupt the flow of funds that help fuel crime in the country. President of the Bahamas Christian Council, Bishop Delton Fernando, is calling for firm action, deeply troubled by the country's murder count already at 25 for the year. The victim of the country's most recent murder, a man on bail for a 2020 murder.
We'll have to seize the profits of gang-related funding. We'll have to stop the funding of those that we know are involved in crime so that we can bring enough pressure that they see the value. Right now, they don't see the value that they're destroying our tourism, so we need to bring that kind of pressure. And in particular, I've been crying that we need a czar for crime. That whole czar portfolio will be day-to-day statistics, day-to-day attacks, day-to-day ways of tackling it, and their total focus will be to bring and reduce the level of murder and crime.
The murder rate for January alone at 21, far exceeding the 8 of 2023, Fernando believes it has come to a point Bahamians may have to face more inconveniences, from increased police stops to maybe even a curfew for the greater good. House members passed amendments to the Bail Act Wednesday, different from the automatic revocation of bail for those found in breach initially announced by the nation's leader. Once law, if convicted of breaching bail terms, the prosecution has 21 days to apply to court to have bail revoked, with the convict being given 7 days' notice of a hearing application. The council president gave his support to the effort to address what police have said is a real problem.
We've all been saying that those that are on bail, if they are breaking the terms of their bail, they should remain locked up. I know that might not do well with civil liberties and all of the like. We are in a serious situation, and sometimes we got to do drastic things to correct the direction we're going in.
For the former police officer, it's no doubt the country is headed in the wrong direction, but he insists crime is not solely a police problem, but a Bahamian one that will take a collective effort to effectively address. He adds parents must also be more proactive.
Some of the incidents that we experience today, we as parents have to spend more time with our children, trying to help them be productive and better contributing citizens rather than those that will take the lives of each other and also wreak havoc in our society.
Fernando says the problems facing the country today did not start today, and it will not end today. But as a country, we must do what is necessary to take back the reins. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Cleopatra Murphy.
Although St. Kitts and Nevis was commended for the high level of public servants' compliance in filing financial documents to the Integrity Commission, a socio-political commentator is asking, why did it take so long for public servants to file? Glenn Bart of SKN Newsline has details.
After the DPP publicly promised to begin legal prosecution against individuals who had not filed up to the extended deadline, it appears there was a scramble of sorts by some persons who were required to file. Socio-political commentator Dwyer Astafan shared his perspective on the situation that unfolded on the requirements of filing with the Integrity Commission.
But it is obvious that the extension of the deadline from December 1, 2023 to January 26, 2024 was a signal that even by December 1st, a significant number of high-level public officials had not yet filed, hence the final extension. Observers have reported that the Integrity Commission's office has been a busy place these past couple of weeks, right up to and including February 1st, when we are told a number of persons filed. I've said this before, and I'll say it again with respect. While it is good that nearly all listed officers have filed based on the information that we have, the question must be asked, why did it take so long? Did they not know? Did they not care? Were they not aware of their compelling obligation as holders of high office, of their responsibility to the rule of law, and to you, the people of the country? Whatever the cause of the extended non-compliance, one would think that these officials need to engage in self-examination, while at the same time, major human resource decision makers in the public service have to have a look at manpower at the top of the chain of command going forward. Perhaps it is time to reform the public service, maybe starting at the top, or starting anyway, everywhere.
The filing requirement was one of several legislative requirements passed in building out the government's good governance agenda. Glenn Bart reporting for SK Newsline.
In more pleasant news now out of St. Kitts and Nevis, that country's Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew got married on Saturday last in Barbados to Diane Prince. In a post on his Facebook page, the Prime Minister said, "It is with grateful heart that he informed the people of St. Kitts of his marriage to his wife, Diane Prince." Andre Huey of SKN Newsline reports.
The wedding took place in the beautiful CARICOM sister island of Barbados on 10th February 2024 in the presence of God, as the ceremony was officiated by Reverend Father David Yard of the Anglican Church. The ceremony was attended by my mother, my son, and my sisters, and the close family members of my wife. I therefore officially introduce you to Mrs. Diane Prince Drew. We ask for your prayers and support as we embark on our new life together. This is the first time since 1995 that the Federation has what is commonly referred to in international circles as a First Lady. I'm Andre Huey for SKN Newsline.
There is a warning from the Environmental Management Authority in Trinidad and Tobago that the current air quality level in Port of Spain is registered as unhealthy. Details in this TV6 news item.
The EMA says the increase in particulate matter is due to Saharan dust, with a level marked at 159. The authority is advising everyone, and in particular sensitive groups, to avoid prolonged or heavy exertion. It says other monitoring stations at Arima, Mayaro, Point Lisa, San Fernando, and Toco range between 69 and 93, representing moderate air quality.
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean.
In the meantime, please follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel for daily regional news and more, in association with our friends at Antillian Group.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's a service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.